Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back again with you, bringing you another report for today. We're bringing you a report, actually another one from the Ukraine. Specifically, this is a report in regards to some racism that we have found. Oh boy, that's a surprise. Some racism that we have found that's been occurring within the Ukraine in regards to African and Indian immigrants and how they're being treated in contrast to the other residents or white residents from the Ukraine. So we got a video that we're going to show you guys, and then after viewing the video, we're going to come back and chop it up here on One Brothas Mind.
They're not letting her go. Is it right? Is it right? They're not letting the black girl go. 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 They're not letting the black girl go.
We don't have arms. We are students. We are students. We are students. We are
Why?
Yes, why?
What kind of lesson? What is this?
Man, these people left without taking the blacks, man. None of the blacks, man. See. None. Even the black guys that already have kids, they took their kids and their wife and left the niggas behind. Like, everyone is stranded. This is really too bad.
These are the black community. We are not allowing any black people to enter inside the gates. We are all here. It's only Ukrainians that they are allowing in. Even the ones with kids, they're not allowing them in. They only have been here for days and nobody's asking any questions. Only Ukrainian women and kids they are allowing in through these gates. All the places blocked and all are full of blacks from different communities, from different countries. Nobody's talking to us. Citizen. These are the black community here. We are not allowing any black people to enter inside the gates. We are all here. It's only Ukrainians that they are allowing in. Even the ones with kids, they're not allowing them. Really happy here for days and nobody's asking any questions. Only Ukrainian women and kids they are allowing in through these gates. All the place is blocked and all are full of blacks from different communities, from different countries. Nobody's talking to us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you guys saw the video. Yeah. Hope none of y'all are actually surprised at this. Unfortunately, many people are, but as those of us in the new black media have been telling y'all over and over, racism and white supremacy is global, family. It's global. Okay? And this is just an additional reason. I mean, there's a long list of reasons, but this is just an example of an additional reason why, family, y'all must stay informed, especially with alternative news and info sources, because you're not seeing this on your mainstream news and your local news channels. They're not showing this. Now, the more this comes out, probably maybe in a few more days from now, the more viral this information goes, they may get around to it, maybe showing what's going on, you know. But because of that, if you as a black person, if you wait to get your news from them, might as well just quit, man. Just quit, because you ain't got a chance. That's not our news. That's not the info that we need, especially the B1 community. That's not the info we need. So this is why, family, why you have to stay informed. And I'm specifically focusing and speaking to the B1 family out there, y'all. You have to stay informed, because the information that you need for you and your family, or that we need for our family, is oftentimes different than the general information that's being put out. This is also why we got to collect and build our own alternative news and information sources. As far as news, you got to have information sources that are not from the inside the U.S. You got to have external information sources, because a lot of the information you need is not going to be reported by mainstream media here in the U.S. You got to go outside the U.S. And then in addition to that, with all the social media you guys have, you got to collect alternative information sources, especially ones that seem to often report information that, or at least let's say this, they provide early reports. They're usually reporting information before mainstream media is reporting it. That type of info sources on social media. You got to collect those, have those, turn on notifications for those, because there's a good chance that you will get a an alert about some information or news or something that's happening. It could be an emergency. And you'll get it a lot sooner than you're going to hear about it on the radio or mainstream media in any kind of way. You got to collect those and turn the alerts on for those. Also, family, this is why you can't have the same plan or same general plan that everybody else has. Because being black, we're always going to have a different experience. We're not going to always have the exact same general experience that everyone else has had. So we have to have a plan B. Always. Have plan B, sometimes C and D. It cannot be the same thing that they're telling everybody else in general to do. That is a lose-lose situation. And you have to pay attention to especially your alternative info and news sources. You have to pay attention to those daily. Stop sitting around watching TikTok videos all dang day. Check your info sources. See if something's going on. I check mine 2 or 3 times a day. Every time I log on, whether I'm on my phone or on my PC, the first things I check is my info sources. See what's the latest, is anything going on that I need to know about right now, especially in regards to emergencies. And if not, then I move on to wherever else I want to go online or in social media. I mean, as y'all see, fam, from this video out of Ukraine, this is life and death, y'all. If this type of example don't wake y'all up and get y'all to lock in and understand how important this information is, and how, if you haven't already, changing your behaviors, taking action to gather your information and have information sources that are helpful to you, nothing's gonna wake you up. I mean, we here at One Brothas Mind, we're praying for these black people that are stuck in the Ukraine, dealing with this bull. Okay? Racism and white supremacy, it's satanic, y'all. I keep saying this over and over. It is satanic. They literally in a war, bombs are being dropped, and they sitting there playing these games, won't let people get out. Ukrainian white people get to go first. Man, and some of y'all are saying, okay, well, in this situation specifically, what else could these black people or African people or Indian people, what else could they have done? I'm glad you asked. Got something for you. General rule. Keep this rule for everything. As a black person, you must act first, early, or just before some bulls jump off, some emergency happens. First, early, or just before. Okay? The only way you can act first or early is being informed early and first. We already discussed that. Now, in this case, they could have potentially acted just before. We've been watching, if you've been paying attention, we've been watching this Ukraine thing and this Russian troop buildup for the last few weeks. After the buildup happened for a few weeks and the bombs had started dropped, yet, for me, if me and my family was in Ukraine and that's where we live, and I'm watching and paying attention, hey, I'm grabbing everything I need and you know what? Let's bounce. Get all the cheese, all the money together I can. Let's go. Let's go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and get out of Ukraine. Let's go travel. Let's take an early vacation, whatever you want to call it. Get out of Ukraine. Get over to what you believe is a safer country. Especially as you look at the countries that actually have NATO troops already there, or NATO military bases. Okay? I mean, we showed y'all that information on our previous video that we put out with the Ukrainian-Russian DEFCON 1. And the other Ukrainian video that we put out before the bombing started here a few days ago. We showed you the maps. You got to have and collect this information, especially when troops start building up. That type of information can help you make a decision for the safety of yourself and your family. Let's go over to Poland. Let's go over to this country or that country. They actually got NATO troops already there. There's a less likely chance of Russia sending bombs or invading those countries. Let's do this and let's get over and get us somewhere to stay that we can afford to stay in for several weeks, if not a month or two, until we kind of see what's going to happen here with this situation. What's the worst case scenario? You go take this early vacation. You get out of the Ukraine using whether it's the train systems or boats or drive your own car, just drive through the borders, whatever, before there's any problems, right? So now you out. You over in Poland or wherever. You find out, ask questions, gather information. Where can you go to find shelter or a place to stay, or a motel, hotel, something, a rental. Just something temporary. Get you some supplies and post up. Turn your TV on, radio on, and your internet on, and watch and pay attention. If you post up and wait this out and nothing ever happens, no bombs drop, and weeks go by, a month or more goes by, you can say, you know what, it's probably safe to go back home to the Ukraine. That's one option. Another option is you could say, you done made it, you got out early, your family is safe, y'all posted up, and a few days later they start dropping bombs. Guess how you gonna feel? You gonna be thanking God you went ahead and moved. You acted just before it got crazy. Okay? These are also family reasons why you got to keep money saved up, as much money as you can. You got to have resources. You have to have resources. You got to have cash and digital money and resources. Because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. It could be a military emergency like this, or it could be a weather emergency. It could be a variety of different kinds of emergencies. You got to be ready to be able to make something happen for the safety of your family. Also, you got to have, this is another reason why you got to have your food preps and food stores. Do you have 6 months of food in your home right now? If something happened today in your area, in your city, where you can't go out your house no more, it's not safe. Can you and your family live off of the food that you have in your house for 6 months? If the answer is no, you need more food and supplies. Meds. That's a big one, y'all. People forget that one. If anybody in your family is taking certain meds, you got to work to try to get your hands on additional supplies of those specific meds. Hopefully 6 months worth. You gotta start growing your own food. You can't get to the grocery store, it's not safe, whatever. But if you got your own garden growing in your backyard, growing your own vegetables, your own potatoes, and what have you. Here's a novel idea. How about raising your own chickens? If it's so-called legal in your area. So you got some meat, vegetables, and potatoes. You can feed your family. Y'all can survive. Do you got water stored? I mean, a couple cases of bottled water is cool, but that's not gonna last if the water's turned off or contaminated for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. You need water storage, or at the very least, the ability to store some water, because a lot of people don't know that if you're at home today and there's an emergency announcement that the water in your area is contaminated, don't drink the water. Okay, as of X o'clock, right? Do you know already that the water that's in your water tank in your home, in the early water that's in your pipes that are connected to your home, 9 times out of 10, that water is still good? And if you got a way to store it, you can just turn on your faucets and run that water, let that flow, and store just the water out of the water tank and those pipes that are closest to your house, and then turn it off. Run it for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. Get that good water that's not contaminated, that's already at your house. Get that water. That's extra water that you and your family can use. Long as you don't live real close to the water plant. But that's a general rule. Did you know that? Also, do you got a generator for creating power, electricity? I mean, a gas generator will do. You can get away with a few days worth, with a gas generator and some gas, but that gas is gonna run out after a few days. And if the power's still out, you ain't gonna be able to go get no more gas. So that's why here at One Brothas Mind, y'all, we recommend get a solar generator and some solar panels. That way you always able to produce power and electricity. I'll be doing a video on prepping and storage in some upcoming broadcasts, y'all. Look out for those. But these are the things you gotta already have, especially you young people. Wake up. Wake up. If y'all ain't realized this, the 400 years is over. That time is up. That biblical time is up. However you want to define it, however you want to say it, we are in, or in the beginning, or just before, however you want to put it. And for you scripture readers, the pre-trib, the trib, mid-trib, all of that, the birth pains, whatever, however you want to call it, we there, y'all. Crazy things are going to continue to happen, and the speed or pace of them is just going to continue to increase. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do your research. Stop sitting around. At least every day you should be researching something, learning something, educating yourself on prepping for all the things I just mentioned. Money, water, food stores, meds, food, growing your own garden, generators, etc. You should be researching all of those. The information has been put out, especially on YouTube, for free for people that are doing it. Don't just pick one person and look at their videos. Check out several of them. Contrast the information and figure out what might be best for you. What will work for you and your family. And like Professor Black Truth always says, make sure you always have your power tools. Because as he says, you never know when you'll have to put in some work. Just a quick update, y'all. I mean, some of y'all may be still tripping. Okay, let me give you a couple examples. What you saw in the video, they're blocking people from getting on the trains. They're blocking people from crossing the borders. All kind of stuff like that. Black people, Indian people, right? Y'all like, why would they do that? It's white supremacy, racism, y'all. Has this happened before? Yes, it's happened in the U.S. Matter of fact, talk to some people that's from New Orleans that was there during Hurricane Katrina. Connect with them on social media. Ask them what happened. Right after Hurricane Katrina, many black people that hadn't left before the storm, remember, that's the first option, that hadn't left before the storm, right after the storm, they swam through, walked through all that crazy flood water and whatnot and made their way out of the flooded areas. While many people went to the dome and the convention center, many other people got on highways and stuff and made their way toward the other New Orleans parishes. They're like counties or other cities, y'all. And guess what they ran into when they got close to walking into those other parishes? White supremacy right in front of their face. Cop cars, sheriff cars blocking the road, all with their shotguns and whatnot, draw down on them. Talking about, turn around. You're not allowed to come into this parish. Wait a minute. We just had a natural emergency and your parish didn't get hit as bad. Your area didn't get flooded. There's food, resources, and safety here. And you actually, because you're racist, you're going to stop black people from crossing into this area to get help and safety? Do your research, young people. Look it up. Some of that stuff's still on the internet. Yeah, they did that. Just like they're doing in the Ukraine right now. It's no different. Same thing with the predator, y'all. And once again, here at One Brothas Mind, ladies and gentlemen, we call this thing we've been dealing with for the last couple of years. We don't use the C word and stuff like that. We call it the predator. Y'all remember when it really blew up, when the numbers blew up in New York and places like that early? And a whole bunch of people was sick and they couldn't, struggling breathing and all that stuff. They going to the hospital. What was the hospitals doing? Many of them were not doing tests. Many of them were not doing much of anything to those patients. They were just, oh, you be all right, go home. And if you get worse, come back. And they did that with the full knowledge that those people were not going to make it back. Most of those people were black people and other minorities, y'all. Now, of course, if you was white and you had some money, oh, you could get a hospital room. But no, they were sending people home. Testing them for the flu and all kind of jacked up stuff like that. Oh, okay, well, it ain't the flu. So, but just go on home, take you some Robitussin, and if you feel like you get a little worse, then come on back and we'll check you out. No. What they were supposed to be doing, once confirming the vitals of the patients coming in were really bad, they were supposed to be admitting those patients, at least giving them a room with a patient monitor and connecting them to it. So if nothing else, it's true. The hospitals, they didn't really know how to treat COVID. They didn't know how to treat the predator in the beginning. And I actually, here at One Brothas Mind, I was telling everybody, no, don't go to the hospitals, because they didn't know what they were doing in the beginning. All right. But at the very least, if you already got it and your vitals are already jacked up, if you're in a hospital room on a patient monitor, which is monitoring your patient vitals, if and when your vitals start to dip to the emergency low levels, you got nursing staff and doctors that can respond and try to do what is possible to restore your vitals or escalate your care to the next level of care that they were using at the time. So you got a chance at least. But they wasn't doing none of that. They was just sending people back home, knowing them people wasn't coming back, y'all. People are dying in their homes, in their sleep. Racism, white supremacy, y'all. Again, family, we always have to act first, early, or just before anything that's going on. Again, our hearts and prayers are going out to the black people and the Indian people here that are stuck in the Ukraine dealing with this racism and white supremacy. I know, it's like you almost can't believe that it's happening, y'all, but it is. Y'all seen the video. So, and this concludes this broadcast for the One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.